In a forest crawling with monkeys, an old soldier keeps a secret even he doesn't remember. That's the premise of Kishkindha Kaandam, and by the time you finish this story, you'll understand why critics called its screenplay flawless. But stick around because the real twist isn't in the plot, it's in how the film tells it. Let's start at the house. Apu Pillai is a retired Indian Army officer, strict, proud, the kind of man who built his identity on discipline. He lives near a reserve forest overrun by monkeys, alongside his son, Ajayan, a man carrying a grief Apu doesn't seem to notice. Ajayan's first wife, Pravina, died of cancer 2 years ago, and a year before that his son, a little boy named Chachu, vanished, just gone. Ajayan never stopped looking. With a cop relative named Shivadasan and his brother-in-law Prasob, he keeps digging for answers no one can find. Then Ajayan remarries. His new wife, Aparna, leaves her job in Bangalore and moves into this strange, quiet house, and almost immediately something feels off. Apu Pillai's license pistol has gone missing, and that's just the first thread Aparna pulls. Aparna starts noticing things about her father-in-law, small things. He repeats himself. He seems lost, sometimes in his own home. She brings it to Ajayan, and he finally tells her the truth. Apu Pillai was discharged from the army because of a memory condition. He hid it. He refused to see a doctor. Pride wouldn't let him. Ajayan gives her one instruction: don't bring it up with him. But here's where the film does something brilliant. A man named Amrit Lal starts visiting Apu Pillai regularly, like an old army colleague catching up. Apu recognizes him, sort of. He's even written private notes about Amrit from previous visits, and one of those notes says, "Don't trust this man. He was never really a soldier, so who is Amrit Lal? Why does he keep coming back? And why does Apu Pillai forget the answer every single time?" While that mystery simmers, the forest delivers a gut punch. Two wildlife photographers out shooting nature footage capture something impossible: a monkey holding a pistol. Authorities trace it back to Apu Pillai. He admits the gun is his. Panic spreads through the area. Then, on a neighboring property Apu sold off 2 years earlier, construction workers unearth a skeleton. Everyone fears the worst. Is this Chachu? It isn't. It's the skeleton of a large monkey killed by a gunshot. And forensics confirm something chilling: the bullet matches the missing pistol. Apu Pillai is brought in for questioning, and that's when his condition becomes impossible to hide any longer. While Apu struggles to answer basic questions in custody, Aparna and Ajayan visit a family friend, Sumadathan, and he hands them a piece of the puzzle no one saw coming. 3 years ago, while Pravina was undergoing chemotherapy, little Chachu got hold of Apu's pistol and accidentally fired it, killing the monkey whose skeleton was just found. Sumadathan buried the animal to bury the secret. Apu Pillai knew this once. He's simply forgotten it, over and over, like a record skipping the same groove. Back at the station, Ajayan steps in, reveals his father's condition to the police, and produces medical discharge papers. Apu is released. Amrit Lal's real identity is revealed too. He's a psychiatrist Ajayan secretly hired, posing as a war buddy just to monitor Apu's deteriorating mind. One mystery solved, but the bigger one is still waiting in a locked drawer. Aparna has already caught Apu Pillai burning documents. Confronting him gets her nowhere but rage and silence. So she does what the story has been building toward. She searches his room herself. What she finds reframes everything: a hidden archive of notes. Apu Pillai has been secretly investigating his own grandson's disappearance for years and forgetting his own findings on a loop. One note states plainly, 2 bullets are missing from the pistol, 1 killed the monkey, the location of the second bullet is unknown, and tucked inside a secret compartment, the missing gun itself. This is the moment the film stops being a mystery about a missing child and becomes something far more devastating. Apu Pillai catches her. Fury, a boundary crossed. But Aparna doesn't back down. She goes straight to Ajayan and lays out everything she's found. And finally, he tells her what really happened 3 years ago. Chachu was playing with the pistol. Pravina tried to take it from him. In the struggle, the gun went off, and Chachu was killed by his own mother's hand by accident. When Ajayan came home, he found Pravina in shock, grieving over their son's body. Before he could process anything, she overdosed on her medication. He rushed her to the hospital, and in his panic, he left Chachu's body behind. When he returned, the body was gone, the floor was clean, and Apu Pillai was sitting calmly eating dinner. His father had disposed of his own grandson's body to protect the family, and then, mercifully or tragically, his mind let him forget he'd ever done it. Later, Ajayan watched his father burn the evidence of his own investigation, the same investigation he keeps unknowingly restarting. Apu once told him plainly he'd figured out the truth, traced it back to the gun, but he didn't want to know who pulled the trigger. He couldn't live the rest of his life seeing his own family as killers. So the lie became permanent. Chachu simply went missing. In the final scene, Aparna and Ajayan leave for Nagpur, still chasing the fiction of a missing boy who might be found. Back home, Apu Pillai sits down again to investigate once more a mystery he's already solved 100 times before. The cycle never breaks, and neither does Ajayan's quiet, endless grief. Kishkindha Kaandam released on September 12, 2024, right in the middle of Onam season, and it didn't just survive that crowded release window, it dominated it. It became the highest-grossing film of Asif Ali's career, grossing 77 crore rupees worldwide, and landed among the highest-grossing Malayalam films ever made. Critics were just as won over as audiences. Critics rated it positively. But maybe the most haunting detail is the title itself. Kishkindha Kaandam is named after a chapter of the Ramayana, the search for Sita through the Monkey Kingdom. The director insists there's no direct mythological connection, and yet watch the film again. It's still a story about a search that never ends, surrounded by monkeys, hiding a truth too painful to face. Maybe that connection was never meant to be subtle at all. Discover overlooked South Indian films. Subscribe for more.